Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I accept things the way they are. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I love wasting. I love wasting. I get free. I reap abundantly. I already have everything I need. Wonderful is happening to me right now. Don't you feel it? Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Oh yeah, I accept things the way they are. I will. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Welcome to the center. It's going to be a great day. Can't wait to hear Bobby play. Robbie.
I'm Michelle Taylor, and I am a practitioner with CSL Kenya. And Reverend Connie's here speaking today. And these wonderful books have been collected on behalf. So these are going over to help her practitioner students. She's starting Prac 1 this fall. And so this allows the students to have access to spiritual books, and for not only for the classes, but they get loaned out as a lending library.
Okay.
So we're so grateful for the outpouring from your church, because these are amazing books.
Well, good morning to all. It's been my pleasure this morning to lead you in the meditation of the central phase of our program. So I invite everyone to get comfortable and take a deep breath. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes and look within. This morning I'd like to lead you in a meditation, a silent meditation. It'll last a couple minutes. But before I start, I'd like to read from the Science of Mind magazine, which can be found in our bookstore. It's a daily affirmation from today, August 20th, 2017. And the affirmation goes on to say, today I choose peace. No matter what is occurring on the outside, I move within and experience the peace and the ease of spirit. In my heart, I know that all is well. And I invite everyone to just ponder these words for a few brief moments and look within. And know that that one life, that one power, that one presence is in us, around us, and filling the sanctuary right now. I know this is true for me, and it's true for each and every person in the sanctuary this morning. So for the next few minutes, let's open our hearts, open our minds, expand our consciousness, and look within, and know all is well. And as this meditation comes to an end, again, I invite each and every person, keep this sacred space anchored in the knowledge and the truth that all is well. I know our service today will unfold and be magnificent. All is well, so it is.
And so if it is comfortable for you, close your eyes and open your heart to the one power, the one mind, the presence that is God. I recognize in this moment that God really truly is love. And everything that is created by the hand of God is created by love. I also know that God is abundance, beauty, and harmony. For what I am experiencing in this moment is love, harmony, abundance, and beauty. I am one with the creation of God, for God loves itself so much that it creates me. And I know this to be true for everyone. God is that limitless mind that exists, and I am one with it. So in this moment, as I speak in the I, as I know that everyone is one with God, I am one with everyone. I know that the gift of God that is given to me in this moment, as I feel the presence of God in every individual sitting here, I am feeling loved by each person here. I can't help to give love back. I know that I am able to come to the center and open my mind and my heart to the good that already exists. And as I give each person my love, in return, I feel the hand of God letting me know that all is well. I am so grateful for this center to remind me that the peace of God is the peace that lives in my heart. I am grateful for everyone who shows up here with a loving heart, open and willing to extend that hand, to give that hug. I am so grateful for all the members of this center, who I call my family. And so from this moment of love and unity, I release my word into that law, knowing that it is all done and all is well. And together we say, and so it is.
Good morning again. It's been a bit of a week, and we're blessed to have Reverend Connie here. And she's making this week start off wonderfully for me, and I know for everybody else. And Carmen, your prayer, gorgeous as always. Emil, thank you for that beautiful centering. But when Reverend Dan asked me to read the prayer that I put in the e-bulletin a few days ago after the events in Virginia. And since then, we've also had a terror attack in Spain. And so I thought, Reverend Dan thought it would be appropriate to read this prayer for peace, which came from Iyanla Van Zandt. It was sent to me by Dr. Andriette Burrow from Heart and Soul Center in Oakland, California, who's a friend of Ian Van Zandt, who, if you didn't know, she's a religious science minister. So you might see some similarities when you watch her show. But if you just close your eyes with me and just listen to the words, because I think they're absolutely beautiful and perfect for a week like this week, and a day like every day. Precious Lord of the universe, with clear intention and a surrendered heart, I turn to you, seeking and invoking peace. I ask for and open myself to receive an infusion of your love and peace at the molecular levels of my being. I ask for and call forward the presence of peace in every square inch of the planet Earth. May peace have dominion and reign in the hearts and minds of all humankind. May peace unfold and infill every system, structure, and community that serves the well-being of humanity. Should there be a mind or heart anywhere on the planet that resists this infusion of peace, I ask that you infill and imbue that being with the light of truth, with the power of love, and the presence of your peace. I stand with humble gratitude and appreciation for the full manifestation of this request. I ask, I allow, God becomes, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. So today's a big day. It's a beautiful Sunday. We've had Carmen, we've had Emile, we've had Patty and Dane, we have Robbie LeBlanc, and now we have Reverend Connie Ellis. And let me tell you how this came into being. God is good, and God is good all the time, as Robbie said. Reverend Cheryl and I were in Kelowna at the Canadian Youth Out Conference in June. And we're walking around looking at the little vendor booths, and we're like, CSL Kenya. I didn't know we had a CSL Kenya. And so we stopped, and there was somebody at that booth. Or I think, I don't know, a gentleman kind of popped up out of nowhere after I expressed some interest. And I was like, okay. And my thought was, as you've heard me say, what can I do to help? That was just what came to me. And so I thought about it, and I asked this gentleman, and I said, well, and I just want you all to know that you all are an extension of me now, so what can I do to help, man? What can we do to help? Just so you know. So he said, well, Reverend Connie really needs books. So, okay, well, we got some books. I know a couple of us have, probably have a few extra books. My roommate being one of them, Reverend Cheryl. And so I just got to thinking, and as I got on the plane, I was thinking, that was before I even met, I met Reverend Connie before I got on the plane. But as I got on the plane, this idea of book drive. Never done a book drive, never really thought about it, but I just said book drive. And so that's how that came into being. But before I got on the plane, a little bit later that day after going to that booth, I met this beautiful lady who's just well-spoken and so energetic, and I didn't know that this is Reverend Connie of CSL Kenya, and I'm just listening to her talk, and then I said, oh, well, we were talking about Kenya, and somehow it came up, and she said, well, I'm Reverend Connie, I'm running CSL Kenya, and I was like, God is good, and God is good all the time. And so she sat right there, and she said, well, I'm coming to Vegas, I'll be there on August 20th, will you have me? And I was like, of course we'll have you. So that's how this all came into being. A little bit of a bio. It's not the best bio that I should have asked her directly. But just a few little facts about Reverend Connie. Or truths, rather. But Connie's vision statement is to know, to grow, and to sow. She has identified her purpose as to make a difference in the world by being the best she can be. Through spiritual leading, learning, and loving, she lives with integrity, intimacy, power, and passion. She's an enthusiastic and principled minister with 25 years experience in the science of mind teaching. She has specific skills as a leader, public speaker, Sunday presenter, and workshop facilitator with emphasis on identifying the spiritual component in everyday life. Connie has participated in, assisted with, and facilitated many personal development courses and workshops during her journey. Science of Mind has been the most rewarding, enjoyable, and life-changing of them all. She is dedicated to taking the Science of Mind teaching into the community and the world. Reverend Connie is the proud recipient of the 2017 Centers for Spiritual Living Global Services Award for the magnificent work in Kenya. Her journey as a minister has taken her to various centers across Canada, from Toronto to Kamloops, and most recent to ministry in Kenya and Africa. Her passion is to continue growing the Center for Spiritual Living Kenya, located in Nairobi, Kenya. She is inclusive and empowering, a clear thinker, a good listener, and a great friend. So please welcome Reverend Connie Phelps.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. This is a great place, and I am so excited to be here and to share some words with you this morning about my journey. And it's really funny. I think the title of the talk, I know I can tie it in somewhere, okay? So, there's only one truth, and we speak it every week. So there you go. So I know I can do that in some way. So, as Reverend Stacy said, we met this summer in Kelowna, British Columbia, at the New Thought Conference. And this year, as have come back, I've been doing these talks all over the place. It's just been magnificent. And so you're actually my final stop before I'm going home next week. So I'm delighted to be here and to share a little bit of the journey of what's happening over in Kenya. I first went to Kenya in 2010 with the intention of, well, I'm not going to get into the whole story, I'll share that later about how I got to that place, but with the intention of seeing if there was really a viable thing to do, to be there. So I determined that was so, and went back to Canada and did some fundraising in order to go back and forth to Kenya. And about a year and a half ago, I decided that it really needed a full-time presence. So CSL Kenya is alive and well and thriving, and I'm now a permanent resident in Nairobi and doing teaching and speaking. And if you want to know more about the individual work, I'm going to do a presentation after this service at 11:30 in this room. So if you're available and want to know more, please stay. And I've got lots of stories to tell you about the work that I'm doing there. But I got to tell you, one of the most important things about the work that is going on there, it is so humbling. I had never been to a developing country before I first was called to go to Kenya. And so I had no idea. Well, I had a bit of it, but I really had no idea. And so what I'd like to say is, and you may have heard this said before, but it's a really good thing we don't know what we don't know. Because if I did know, I wouldn't have done it. Right. So it has been such an amazing journey. And over the last few years, as I've been teaching more students, this last year I had 25 adult students that I was teaching in various levels of classes. And I actually have 8 students ready to go into practitioner class this fall. We're having our very first practitioner class. Isn't that exciting? In 2019, we're going to have a conference in the fall of 2019, and you guys can come over and have panels of, okay? So, yeah. Just putting it out there. You never know what might happen. Dr. Holmes says, there is something in us which was never put there by experience, but out of which all experience is the outcome. Let us consciously enter into the spirit within, which is at the same time both God and human. As all the good there is, all the power there is, all the God there is the living spirit of love and life, the essence of beauty and growth. And that is true. And so one of the things I've noticed as I've been there over the last few years is truth is truth is truth. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what the circumstances are, there is only one truth. So shortly after I first went there in 2010, I was invited by a fellow that had found us on the internet, can you imagine? And so he invited me out to a slum. Now I know we can get a little tied up about that word, but get over it, because it's what they call it. So they're not, anyway. So my first experience, so I went into the slum, and he had put a group of people from the school that he runs there together, and teachers and parents, and so I'm sitting in this little tiny tin shack, and there's this sea of faces in front of me, absolutely stoic, not a smile in the crowd. So I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden I had this moment of, oh, what have I done? Seriously, what had I done? And I had this panic, and I thought, oh, I've sold everything I own. I'm here in Nairobi. Oops. So in that moment of panic, many of you practitioners, you might have tried this once or twice. I just closed my eyes. And I breathed for a moment. And into my head popped these words. And the words were, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what color you are, what age you are, what part of the world you're in. It doesn't matter what your circumstance. None of that matters. Truth is truth. And I thought, okay, I can do this. So I opened up my eyes, and I looked out at the crowd, and I said, so you're probably wondering what this white woman from Canada possibly has to offer you that might make any difference in your life. All of a sudden, there's smiles. Oh, man. So I said to them, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. None of it matters. I know that there is only one truth, and that truth is that God is good all the time. God is inside of us. There is only one truth, one power, one presence, and I know how to teach truth. And so as long as I remember that, I can stay in Nairobi. So over the years, that's been my mantra. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. And you know what? We need to remember that right now was what's going on right here at home. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. Truth is truth. We know truth. Let's remember it. There is a power, there is a presence, and it's operating right here, right now, always. So I keep remembering that because that is the piece that gets me through it. So over the years as I've been there, I have been in absolute awe of the manifestations, nothing less than radical manifestations, that I have witnessed in the lives of the people that have been taking classes. And it has superseded anything I've ever experienced before. And I've been in this teaching a long time. And as Stacy said, I call myself a spiritual gypsy. I kind of been all over the place and teaching all over the place. So I've got a bit of experience there. So I asked myself, why is this so? What is going on here that this would be so incredibly transformative to their lives? And so I've come up with a couple of things that I believe are contributing factors to why that this is so. So I love to ask this question when I go to someplace new. Anybody here, and some of you I know already have done this because it's your first time, anybody here, do you remember the first time you ever walked into a Center for Spiritual Living? Anybody remember that? Let's see, show of hands. Who remembers the first time? Look around the room. This is a phenomenon that happens everywhere. Thank you. Because there is something that happens in that moment to us, even if we've never heard truth spoken before, there is something within us that recognizes when we hear it, even though we may never have had those words before. And that's what I think is going on. Even though they may never have ever heard the science of mind or heard truth spoken, because I gotta tell you that there's 46 million people in Kenya, which is a very small area, smaller than Nevada. And highly populated. We just did the research the other day. There's 1.2 billion, is that what, in the whole Africa? Is that what? Michelle, you remember the number, you don't remember. Anyway, a big number of people. We looked it up, I forget. Okay, so anyway, there's a lot of people in Africa. It's very, very dense. But in Kenya, because that's the country I live in, so I'll speak to that, 80% of the population is fundamental Christian. 11% is Muslim. That doesn't mean leftover. So they're really, really religious. And so what I kind of think about that is, you know, when the missionaries went over from the other countries, they got the crazies. Okay, all the crazies ended up in Africa, because I am telling you, I have heard fundamental Christianity takes it to a whole new level. So this is the environment that I'm there teaching truth in. I just shared that story because, yeah, here I am. Okay, this is good. So, but there's some really, really neat things about that. So, the first thing that I believe that is going on there is they do not have what I would call an I know mindset. Now, those of you that teach classes, the ministers, you may have recognized this over the years, some of you that have been around for a while. Now, when I first started this teaching back in the early 90s, it was kind of a new deal, right? It was pretty new. And that newness has something about it. So in that newness, in that I don't know mindset, what they think they know is not getting in the way of what it is they need to know in order to make the changes that they need to make. Because one of the things I kind of noticed was happening in some of the centers that I was at is people would come to the center and they may or may not end up in classes, but I'd hear things like that. I've been studying this for years. You know, what have you got to offer? I already know it. Have you guys heard that? Yeah, me too. So I don't have that going on there because nobody's heard of it before. So hey, it works for me, right? Hence all the books. That's why we need all the books, because they're none there. See, here you can, you know, come to a center or several centers in Las Vegas, and you can, you know, have your pick. You can turn on the TV. Oprah's talking these same truths all the time. Many other people are as well. You can pick up a book. You can turn on the radio. We're mainstream. We're not fringe anymore. We're mainstream. But that isn't the truth there. And I kind of like to think that back in the early 1900s, when Holmes started this teaching, I think he was probably having a similar experience because there was that I don't know. So that's the first thing that I've noticed about it. The second thing is, it's just like here, you know, when I said, you know, when you first come into something and that openness. But the next thing that I think is going on, that is happening, is that culture is one of extreme poverty and limitation. And I know we have some of that here, but seriously, it's a whole different level of desire and of how many people, anybody here want anything to be different in your life? Anybody? Show of hands, anybody? Like anything to be different? Well, I think what's going on for many of us, we want something to be different. But what I know about that, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if we want something to be different, we have to change. But I think what happens is we are so comfortable in our lives in the Western developed world that we're not really willing to change. We just want it to be different. But what I've noticed is they just don't want something to be different. Really want life to be different. And they are willing to do whatever it takes to have that different. They are willing to do whatever is necessary inside to have it different. So it's a whole different level of change. One of my first teachers that I heard when the first center I went to was in Calgary, Alberta. And Dr. Arlene Bump was there. Now, Dr. Arlene, like, she's the matriarch of the organization. She's been around for a bazillion years. But one of the things I heard her say one day, shortly after I first started, and she said, I've met people that come into this teaching. She said, people come into this teaching one of two ways. Inspiration or desperation. She said, I haven't met anybody that came from inspiration yet. So anybody here come in out of desperation? I know I did. That was my truth. And so she was at the conference in Kelowna, so I was having a conversation with her one day, and I reminded her that she, yes, still true. Yeah. But they are so desperate for life to be different. For life to be different. For their experience of life to be different than it is now. So the third factor is what I believe is their educational system. They have been an oral, auditory environment since probably the beginning of time, and the different tribes, that's how they communicated, everything was orally, nothing was written. And then when the missionaries came over, they didn't have any books, so they're teaching under a tree. And when I go into the swim school, up until last year, when Michelle did a bunch of fundraising and we took school books, or bought school books for the classes, the teachers didn't have a book to teach from. It was all done orally. So what happens in that oral tradition, it's all repetition and regurgitation. Now I get that, there's some of that goes on here too, still in the school system. But it's really just repetition, repetition, repetition. So there's actually some good things about that I've discovered. So one of them is that when I tell them what to do, they do it. I love this part. They do it! I really love that part. You get it, right? She's on the floor over here. So, I love it. So they've been, these people, like I said, they're very, very, very fun. They know how to pray. They pray. Their whole life is prayer. So what's really interesting about that is they are prayers. They pray all the time. But when I give them the formula of prayer, so here's something that I've noticed in classes. So you guys teach 5 steps, right? Okay, so people come to class and we give them the 5 steps of treatment. And I hear things like, 5 steps? Really? 5 steps? Why can't I do it in 3 steps? Why do I have to do it in that order? I want to do it my way. I want to do it. I want to pray. I don't get that. I love it. But I tell them to pray and I give them 5 steps and it's magic. So I gotta ask you. You guys have a lot of practitioners here, so I've got a question for you. Any good practitioners out there? Why do we treat 5 steps? Why do we teach treatment the way we teach it?
It works.
It works. Duh. I mean, you just have to shake your head. Really? Okay, so they do the work, which is really, really quite amazing. They are... Michelle is a practitioner, and she is one of my practitioners. She does outreach work with these students, and Michelle goes, man, they can treat. Can I hire them to pray for me? Man, can they manifest. It's an amazing, amazing thing. So when we have our assignments and I teach them how to meditate, most of them have never meditated before. But they meditate, and they do their affirmations, and they're not arguing. Anybody here argue about your good? It's not that we don't know what to do. It's that often we don't do it. We know what we need to do. But I think the trick is they're actually doing it. So I really believe it's a combination of those things. And the truth is those things are applicable to every one of us. Every one of us. If there's something that you want to treat for, if there's something that you want to be different in your lives, if there's something that you're really having that desire for something new to go on, remember these 3 things. Ask yourself, what is it that I think I already know about this? Because I can guarantee you what it is you think you know about it is getting in your way of what you need to know. So ask that question, what do I need to know? Have an innocent, I don't know mind. Pretend you don't know anything. Anything. Be open to know something new. Number 2 is to really ask yourself, how badly do I really want what I say I want? If you're going to a practitioner, before you go, ask yourself, what is it that I really want? How badly do I want what it is I say I want? And am I willing to change who I am in order to have that? Am I willing to change inside me to have what it is I say I want? And the third thing is, do your work. Do the spiritual work. If you don't know how to do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, go to a practitioner. They'll work with you. But learn how to do it for yourself. Learn how to do spiritual mind treatment. Learn how to meditate. Learn how to do the affirmations. Go to class with an open mind. Instead of the mind of, well, I already know all of this, open it up and say, really, there's something else going on here. What do I need to know? Because I can guarantee you that is the most selflessly kind thing. See, I tied it in. The most selflessly kind thing that you can do for yourself is to know that, to do it, and to be it. And your life, you too will have radical manifestations, and just allow all of that good to be yours and to transform your life. And so it will be, and so it is. Okay, join with me as we go within, before we go back out into the world of our lives. We go back in to remember that there is this one perfect truth that resides at the heart of each one of us. And that truth is that there is only one power, one presence, one life, one force. That life is good. And that life is always right where we are as we move into that inner awareness of the love, the light, the joy, the peace, the power, the beauty, the abundance, the creativity, the harmony, the joy. We know that we remember to take that and shine that light, be that light, take that light back out into the world, into your families, into your homes, into your workplace, into the community. As we move out, we remember that there is only one. There's only one. And that one is right here, always. I know it, I recognize it, I see it, I am it. And the God in me recognizes and sees the God in you. So we just breathe together in that one breath, knowing that it is all perfectly unfolding and it is all good. So I'm so grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this opportunity of being here in this place, in this time, sharing the love, sharing the light, knowing that there is so many more people just loving up Kenya right now. And it is so good. We are all blessed, and I just say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
Please dance and sing our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all
me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And so it is.
And